Hello and welcome to Thinking Outside the Box. My name's Tim Box and I'm here with
his wife Britt.
Britt Marie Box. That's a good intro. I think that was smooth.
Okay,
so
we'll keep that.
We'll keep that. Yeah, we won't cut that out. It's our first podcast, so we're just finding our feet on this. We are doing a podcast. It is going to be about mental health, emotional well-being, all things to do with, I don't know, what would you say, emotionally getting through these challenging times? Would that be fair to say, you think?
Yeah, how to deal with it.
How to deal with it, yeah. We should say straight away, do not confuse any of our advice as medical advice. Neither of us are Dr. Box. Although I do occasionally have people messaging me saying Dr. Box.
And I would like to do my doctorate one day, but it will be in English literature, so not very helpful.
Yeah, you can't save people's lives with an English literature doctorate.
Can I interest anyone in a dictionary?
Quick, we need some literal references. Okay, so yeah, what we're going to talk about, it's all going to be that sort of stuff. So this isn't just random either. It's not just because our last name's Box and Thinking Outside the Box is such an awesome podcast title.
Even though it is.
It was either that or our movie review podcast.
Oh, the box office.
The box office. I mean, that still might happen, I feel. That's too good to waste, isn't it? But we're going to talk about this because we both have a fair amount of personal or professional experience in the field. So the first thing I think we want to do in this first episode is to introduce ourselves, who we are, what we do, and why we're frickin' doing this rather than upstairs having a cup of coffee and watching a Marvel film. Okay, so my job title is I'm a mind coach and remedial hypnotist. So I work in one-to-one therapeutic industry, as in I help people overcome anxiety, depression, low confidence, low self-esteem, all that sort of stuff. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis, one-to-one with my clients. And I also wrote a book about helping clear your head of anxiety. It's called Clear Your Head, funny enough. And I also did a TED Talk about being less anxious about anxiety. So I have a fair amount of professional experience in this field. However, I also have a personal story about myself overcoming social anxiety, which you could argue that's why I went into this field, although it was very belatedly in my professional career that I moved into this field, and I've been doing this now for the last 10 or 11 years. So that's my interest in this topic. And I suppose I'll hand over to my good lady wife to explain her origins.
Well, I have absolutely no qualifications in anything that matters. I barely scraped by with an English GCSE, to be honest. But I come at this from the point of view of being down in the doldrums with it, I suppose, is the best way I can place it. I've had, if you listen to this and you already follow me or you know my story, then you'll know about my struggles with mental health. And if you don't, that's fine. I'll probably be going deep into these in this podcast, like it's some cheap way of therapy for myself as well. But it's basically, I have had mental health struggles for most of my life since I was first diagnosed, and I'm using inverted air quotes even though you can't see me, with a mental health disorder of some kind when I was about 11 or 12. So I've kind of been in and out of the system. I've had my own ways of dealing with it, and I kind of come at this from very much a practical point of view of what I do to help my mental health, and then I talk about it on the internet to strangers in the hopes that it might help them with theirs as well. So I have absolutely no professional experience. I can only talk about it from a personal experience kind of way, and I think that's maybe what value I bring to this.
I think it absolutely is, and it's worth saying as well, obviously those people that already follow you will know this, but those that don't need to know this, is that your social media is a great source of inspiration and by proxy therapy, if we're being absolutely honest about it, to thousands of people. I see that every day when I'm following your stuff and you're talking about the sort of messages you're getting from people. And also the people that are on my social media are constantly referencing you and how beneficial your content is every day. So I think it's not to be underestimated, the value of having somebody's opinion who has, walked that path and has a great deal of practical experience about how to deal with all this stuff. And, you're just a very inspiring individual anyway.
Well, thank you very much.
Even if I do say so myself, that's maybe one of the reasons why I married you.
That and my banging body.
Well, mainly that, obviously. Oh, wow, 5 minutes in. It's already gone there. But the thing I should say though is that I think so. I have a lot of ideas about things. About let's do this, let's do this. I do a lot of thinking about things and talking about things.
He does a lot of talking about things.
I do. You say that almost resentfully. But I mean, but this one was something, an idea that was mooted.
We've just finished watching Staged. If anyone has watched Staged, they'll understand the moot an idea reference.
I think, yes, popularised the expression to moot an idea. But yeah, so I talk about, but this was one thing that when I suggested it, I was stunned because you didn't instantly say, "No, I don't want to do that with you."
I didn't instantly say yes.
But you said, I thought I was on a winner when you didn't instantly dismiss it. So I want to ask you, why did you want to do this with me?
Oh, everyone's doing a podcast.
And that's it.
And I get massive FOMO. If someone's doing something and I'm not doing it, I get really sort of, I'd like to do that.
That's it, because we're one of the just under 1,000 people left on the planet who don't have their own podcast.
Yeah. Well, everyone wrote a book. We wrote a book. Everyone did TED Talk. We did TED Talk.
we're there just after the boom hits.
Yeah, after. Well, also, you'll back me up here that I've been thinking about doing a podcast for a really long time, but I didn't quite know what I wanted to talk about. Because it's one thing saying, I mean, not that stops a lot of people from doing podcasts, not having a clue what they want to talk about. But it was when you said it that I kind of thought, because I'm very aware and I make my position very clear that I don't want to talk about mental health from the position of, hey guys, look, I'm fixed. Look how I did it. You can be like me, because I'm absolutely not. I've spent half this week crying over nothing. I want to plant my flag in the sand and be very, very clear here that I'm absolutely not doing this as a, hey, listen to the words I say and you too can be great like me. This isn't an 80s infomercial. This is real life. And especially at the moment, because I don't know if you're listening to this in 5-10 years, then maybe you'll be like, hey, what was that coronavirus thing that everyone's talking about? But we're right in the middle of it. And I miss everything about my normal life and it makes me sad. So I just want people to know that whilst this isn't going to be a doom and gloom podcast at all, quite the opposite, I do see the levity and the happiness in a lot of things, but I'm in it. I'm right there. And I suppose that's kind of what I wanted to be clear about from the off.
I think that's a great point, because there's one thing that we're always talking about is this. You sometimes feel guilty, and I know this from conversations we've had, that you're inspiring people, and yet there's going to be many days, where you don't feel particularly inspiring or inspired yourself. And I think it's important to realise it. See, this is why I wanted you to do this with me, because you don't inspire people because I got the other side of it, I'm perfect now, but because you recognise the daily struggles and people can relate to that. And I think that's really important, especially at this time when we're so isolated, yet all in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think
we're all in